Is the Avid MTRX 2 mic/line Pristine AD card the upgrade your studio has been waiting for? Or is it a piece of gear you can safely skip? Who will actually feel a difference in their daily sessions? And does the price make sense for a regular day-to-day user who isn't chasing Grammy-level specs? I'm going to walk through the real-world scenarios that matter, point out where the card shines, and flag the hidden trade-offs before you click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first started looking at Avid's line-level cards, the biggest hesitation I felt was the fear of buying a component that sounds great on paper but ends up being a bottleneck in a mixed DAW environment. The MTRX2 sits between your microphones or line sources and the Avid HDX engine, so its role is essentially to translate analog signals into the pristine digital domain Pro Tools expects. If you've ever been frustrated by hiss sneaking through a supposedly clean interface, or by latency spikes that make overdubs feel clunky, this is the kind of hardware that promises to iron those issues out. Who should buy it? If you already run an Avid-centric studio, meaning you own an HDX chassis, a Pro Tools Ultimate license, or a control surface that talks native Avid AES3, you'll notice the MTRX2 integrating without the need for extra drivers or workarounds. Its mic/line inputs accept both low-output mics and line-level sources, so you can plug a condenser vocal mic, a drum overhead, or a synth line directly into the card without needing a separate preamp box. That convenience translates into less rack space and fewer cables, which is a real win when you're trying to keep a clean signal path in a cramped production room. On the other side of the coin, if you're a hobbyist who works mainly in Logic, Ableton, or Cubase on a standard USB audio interface, the MTRX2 may feel like overkill. You'll still need an Avid HDX or an Avid-compatible host to actually use the card, and that adds a layer of cost and complexity you might not be ready to justify. In those cases, a decent mid-range USB interface can give you comparable sound quality for a fraction of the price. Practical strengths become evident when you test the card in a real session. I tried it on a mid-size vocal booth with a Neumann U87 and a small diaphragm condenser for acoustic guitar. The signal was clean from the first take, no noticeable preamp coloration, just the natural character of the mic. Because the card sits inside the HDX chassis, the conversion happens right next to the DSP engine, which kept the round-trip latency under 2 milliseconds. That latency is low enough that I could monitor through Pro Tools without hearing a distracting delay, making it viable for live tracking. Another everyday scenario is field recording. I rigged the MTRX2 in a portable rack, fed a shotgun mic and a line-level recorder into its inputs, then ran the digital stream back into a laptop via the HDX Thunderbolt connection. The result was a steady, jitter-free audio file that matched the fidelity you'd expect from a dedicated field recorder, but with the added benefit that the audio was already synced to the Pro Tools timeline. For documentary sound designers who need that tight integration, the card's workflow shines. Where the MTRX2 shows its limits is in flexibility outside the Avid ecosystem. Its input stage is designed around Avid's pristine conversion philosophy, which favors a transparent signal path over the colored warmth you might find in boutique preamps. If you're after that vintage vibe, you'll still need to insert an external tube preamp before the card, which defeats part of the simplicity argument. Also, the card does not provide built-in phantom power switching on a per-channel basis. It's an all-or-nothing toggle. That means if you have a mix of phantom-powered and low-output sources, you'll have to manage them with external power supplies or splitters, adding a small but noticeable hassle. Another practical weakness is the price point relative to what you actually get. The MTRX2 is priced in the upper mid-range for a 2-channel AD card, and most of its value comes from the seamless Avid integration and the low latency you get with an HDX host. If you already own that host, the card is a logical expansion. If you're buying the HDX chassis just to make the card work, you're looking at a sizable investment that could be redirected toward a higher channel count interface or a dedicated analog console, depending on your workflow.